Most people grow up hearing the same advice. Be kind. Be patient. Be understanding. Be the bigger person. And for a long time, many of us try to live exactly like that. We try to be the good one, the calm one, the reasonable one. But there is something people rarely talk about. Sometimes, being the good person comes with a quiet cost. When people think about a good person, they imagine someone kind, someone patient, someone who listens, someone who doesn't cause problems. And those things are not wrong. Kindness matters. Understanding matters. Patience matters. But sometimes, when someone tries very hard to be the good person, they slowly begin to carry things that were never meant to be theirs. They carry other people's emotions, other people's expectations, other people's disappointments. And after a while, they begin to feel something strange. They feel tired, not physically, but emotionally, because being the understanding one often means you are the one who absorbs everything. When someone is angry, you stay calm. When someone is unfair, you try to understand them. When someone hurts you, you look for their reasons. And again, none of these things are bad. But there is a difference between kindness and self-abandonment. And many good people cross that line without noticing. They become so focused on keeping peace that they forget how to protect themselves. They become so used to understanding others that they stop asking whether anyone understands them. Over time, this creates a quiet imbalance, because relationships are not meant to be carried by one person. They are meant to be shared. But when you are always the calm one, the patient one, the forgiving one, people slowly begin to expect that from you. Not because they are evil, but because humans adapt to patterns. If someone always says yes, people stop imagining that they could say no. If someone always understands, people stop imagining that they might be hurt. And little by little, the role of being the good one becomes a kind of identity. An identity that feels very difficult to leave. Because the moment you try to set a boundary, something uncomfortable happens. People become surprised. Some may even become upset. They say things like, "You've changed. You used to be so understanding." And suddenly, you feel guilty for protecting yourself. This is the hidden cost of always being the good person. Not the kindness itself, but the pressure to maintain the image of that kindness. To always be calm. To always be forgiving. To always be the bigger person. But real emotional maturity does not mean never having boundaries. In fact, the opposite is often true. Healthy people know how to care about others without abandoning themselves. They know how to listen without absorbing everything. They know how to forgive without accepting repeated harm. And perhaps most importantly, they understand something many people learn only after many years. Being a good person does not mean being endlessly available. It does not mean saying yes to everything. It does not mean carrying every emotional weight that appears around you. Sometimes, being a truly good person requires something much more difficult. Honesty. Honesty about what you feel. Honesty about what you can handle. Honesty about where your limits are. And honesty, especially in relationships, can feel uncomfortable because honesty changes dynamics. When you begin to speak honestly, some people will understand you better, but others may step away. And that can feel scary, especially if you spent years being the one who held everything together. But there is also a quiet freedom in letting go of the role you were never meant to carry alone. Because the truth is, the world does not need perfectly agreeable people. It needs honest ones. People who are kind, but also clear. People who are understanding, but also self-aware. People who know that respect goes in both directions. And once you begin to understand that, something inside you changes. You realize that being a good person was never about saying yes to everything. It was about living with integrity, about treating people well, but also treating yourself with the same level of respect. And sometimes understanding yourself starts with asking better questions. If reflections like this resonate with you, I created 2 quiet tools for deeper self-reflection: the Quiet Mind Journal and a collection of 150 deep questions. You can find them in the description.